All right, let's move along. Some more injury news. Obviously, Charlie McAvoy coming out of the Four Nations is not going to be in the lineup for the next while for the Boston Bruins. And then they announced that Hampus Linholm is done for the year as well. So a couple of major losses on the Bruins blue line, Frank. And listen, they had been in the conversation for the last sort of 3 to 5 weeks here. Is like, are they going to sell? What are they going to do? Are they clinging to life in the playoff race? With all these injuries, did they maybe just make Don Sweeney's decision a little bit easier?
I think that's a really interesting way to frame it. I mean, I don't want to say that they waved the white flag this weekend in his press comments, but man, it certainly seems like a team that has now become one of the most fascinating deadline teams and true wild cards when it comes to which way they turn. I don't think they're going to be adding to beef up this team, but at the same time, I still have a real hard time getting to the point where they trade Brad Marchand. And I know the commentary has been from some Bruin fans. Hey, blow this team up. Let's see the retool. Let's do it. That's not really ever been in their DNA as a franchise. Definitely not how Cam Neely tends to operate. And beyond that, I just think if you move on from Marchand, again, I know there's a limited time window there that he's only going to be that productive for so long. But he doesn't show any signs to me of slowing down. And I'm looking at it going, what's better, 3 or 4 more years of Brad Marchand and competing every year, or beginning the pain to then who knows what the guarantee on the other end of that is? What is Brad Marchand going to bring you that helps put your retool or rebuild over the top? I think fair questions to ask. The other bottom 6 pieces that they're likely to move on from, Trent Frederick, Justin Brazeau. I mean, these are guys that aren't going to bring you massive returns. They're going to bring you a couple nice little pieces, but Boston has some serious existential questions to ask about what they're doing moving forward and what's the posture of their team.
Yeah, just looking right now, next season, of the players currently on their NHL roster, only 6 of them are under contract for next season. And the Bruins do have just north of $24 million in projected cap space, according to Puckpedia. So there's a part of me that goes, hey, yeah, keep Marchand, keep these guys. You have some wiggle room with your blue line locked in and the goaltending locked in. You can add this summer if you want to. There's the other part of me that goes, okay, you swung and missed on Elias Lindholm a little bit here. He's not the answer that you thought he would be when you gave him a contract that's nearly $8 million a season. Like, maybe you should sit there and go, you know, David Pasternak's 28. If we sit here and not punt, but keep more of an eye on the future for the next 2 seasons, maybe we can inject a new, fresh core into this team with David Pastrnak still in the prime of his career at, call it, 30.
A supporting commentary to that would be, is Jeremy Swayman going to play this poorly again next season? His career numbers would indicate not. He's played 41 or 43 games this year at an .893, including those numbers. For his career in 170-some games, he's at .914. So really his career average prior to this year is closer to .918 or .920. It's covered up. Their goaltending with Ullmark had covered up a lot of their issues that they had in the past. They've struggled to score this year. The center position is abundantly obvious. How do they reshape and fix their defense core is another interesting question. But I think you'd probably expect a bounce back from the Bruins for a season that just went haywire. And by the way, they're still in the mix. I know, like, injuries notwithstanding, like, they're still right there.
And the games just start meaning more and more here in that Eastern Conference playoff picture too. I mean, you talked about it today on the DFO rundown, but like, there are so many teams that are a good week away from being in the driver's seat, but at the same time, a bad 10 days away from being totally out of this race.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Seravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.